With all the best athletes gathered in Budapest, it's not at all surprising that crazy things keep happening. From new world records to almost wins, the track is on fire, and the 400-meter hurdles is no exception. Suffice it to say that the men's 400-meter hurdles semifinals at the 2023 World Athletics Championships at the National Athletic Center witnessed some stellar performances, especially from Karsten Warholm, Rashawn Clark, Ray Benjamin, and Alison dos Santos. Karsten Warholm, the Olympic champion and world record holder, delivered an effortless run in his semifinal heat, clocking an impressive 49.09 seconds. He adeptly handled the humid conditions, securing his spot in the event's final with the day's quickest time. Notably, Warholm was unbeaten in his last 12 meets and hopes to regain his men's 400-meter hurdles world title after struggling with injury last season and failing to make the world's podium. He is aware, though, that he is facing strong competition from other athletes across the globe. In fact, alongside him in the semifinals was Jamaica's rising talent Roshawn Clarke, who set a new senior national record. In addition to that, Clark, who's just 19 mind you, also surpassed his own world U20 record, registering a time of 47.34 seconds. This eclipsed his previous junior record of 47.85 seconds achieved at the Jamaica Outdoor Track and Field Championships early in the season. Warholm commented on his performance and said, "There will undoubtedly be competitors aiming to challenge me, but today's performance felt robust and on point." The two went against each other, or at least one tried to outrun the other in the semifinal heat 3. Trevor Bassett and Joshua Abuaku, who were in the same heat as Clark and Warholm, also qualified for the finals, with American athlete Bassett setting a new personal best of 47.34. Although Turkey's Yasmani Capello clocked a season's best of 48.66, he finished 6th in the heat, so he wasn't able to qualify for the final race. In the men's 400-meter hurdle semifinal heat 2, Ray Benjamin, the world and Olympic silver medalist, narrowly outpaced defending world champion Alison dos Santos of Brazil. Benjamin recorded a time of 47.24 seconds, just ahead of dos Santos, who set his season's best with 47.38 seconds. Both qualified for a spot in the final. Then, in the first semifinal heat, Kyron McMaster, a two-time Commonwealth Games champion from the British Virgin Islands, led the pack with a time of 47.72 seconds. He was closely followed by Estonia's Rasmus Magi, who finished in 48.30 seconds. Unfortunately for Mario Lambrugi, he was disqualified due to a false start. Instead, Germany's Joshua Abuaku, who ran in Heat 3, secured the last spot in the final with a time of 48.39 seconds. Now let's take a closer look at each of their performances, starting with Jamaica's Rashawn Clark. As earlier mentioned, the 19-year-old hurdler set a new personal best, smashing the world junior record in the process, in his, listen to this, first outing at the World Athletics Championships. Clark, who is the world junior silver medalist, ran 47.34 to qualify. His race was won by world record holder Karsten Warholm of Norway in 47.09. Notably, Clark's compatriot Jahil Hyde had to settle for 4th in Heat 1 in the semifinal, running a time of 48.49. At last year's staging of the World Championships in Eugene, Oregon, he made the final, setting a personal best of 48.03 in the process. If Clark wins in the final, Hyde's loss wouldn't hurt as much, as that meant the honor would still be held by Jamaica. And some believe that while it will definitely be a challenge, there is a chance he can pull it off. Well, at least they hope so. It helped that Rashawn Clark is off to an amazing first World Championships. In fact, the goal for a first-timer of advancing to a final has already been met. What's more, Clark did so in fine fashion by breaking a 30-year-old national record while setting a new world junior record. The best way to finish that remarkable first-time experience is by getting on the podium. Rashawn Clark has so far had the kind of championships that one can only dream of as a teenager. With his time of 47.34 in the semifinals, he has smashed the 400-meter hurdles world junior record of 47.85, which he held jointly with Sean "Squirrel" Burrell, and took down the legendary Winthrop Graham's national record of 47.60 that stood for 30 years. Meanwhile, 25-year-old Ray Benjamin went into the Worlds with a challenge-filled season behind him. In early July, Olympic 400-meter hurdles silver medalist Ray Benjamin won a fourth straight U.S. title in his signature event, the 400-meter hurdles at the 2023 U.S. Track and Field Championships in Eugene, Oregon. "I think this sets me up really well," Benjamin said on U.S. broadcaster NBC. "It's been a rough 2 months. I'm happy it all just came together today." Benjamin arrived in Eugene after dealing with several hardships over the past weeks, as he notably got injured in his season opener in April. What he thought was a strained quad ended up being an irritated nerve in his back. He pushed through pain and illness when competing at the Doha Diamond League in May after a bout with COVID. Still, he pushed through all of that, which paid off as he qualified for the final race in the men's 400-meter hurdles in Budapest. Norwegian sprinter Karsten Warholm knows what it feels like to battle through an injury and experience disappointment because of it. But Karsten Warholm has never lacked self-confidence. He, too, powered through his 2022 season blighted by injury. He tore his hamstring in his first 400-meter hurdles race last season at the Rabat Diamond League just 6 weeks before the World Championships. Despite this setback, he fearlessly made it to the finals in Eugene, but was disappointed not to clinch a third world title. This year, he is aiming for a different outcome. Moving on to former Ashland University national champion Trevor Bassett, who is in great shape and ready to partake in what is expected to be a very stiff competition. According to U.S. Track and Field and Cross Country Coaches Association, Bassett is the all-conditions NCAA Division II record holder in the men's 200-meter dash indoors 20.40 seconds and men's 400 dash indoors 45.25 seconds, and has the top all-time out-of-season mark in the men's 400 hurdles outdoors 47.39 seconds. At the 2023 USATF Outdoor Championships in July, Bassett took third in the finals of the men's 400 hurdles in a season-best 48.26 seconds. Likewise, Germany's Joshua Abuaku is more than ready to run against the fastest and strongest hurdles of each country who qualified in the final. Among all these athletes, most sports enthusiasts have their eyes on Ray Benjamin and Karsten Warholm. The two already met and competed against each other several times in the past, but their battle in the 2020 Tokyo Olympics proved to be one of the most epic contests at the event, as the two rivals posted the two fastest men's 400-meter hurdles times in history. But it was Warholm who ultimately charged to the gold medal. They raced against each other once again at the World Athletics Championships in Eugene, Oregon last year once again. There, Benjamin finished second again, but this time he was behind Brazil's Alison dos Santos, the Tokyo bronze medalist. Although Warholm got off to the fastest start and maintained a slight lead at the midway point, the injuries he had been battling earlier in the season got in the way, so he lagged far behind the podium finishers. In the end, dos Santos finished first in the event. Make sure to stay tuned to find out who ended up on the podium.